What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and if you are, I would really appreciate you pressing that like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. This video won't hit recommended, and that would be sad because I'm already about 99% sure it's gonna get demonetized. Yeah, that's right. Normally, PG family-friendly Scrubs has left the building to tell a story that actually is about the weirdest day of school. I'm probably gonna name it like the best day of school just because that title is gonna be even funnier, you know, once you guys actually hear the story. But it should be entertaining. It's pretty edgy though. It involves me eating some stuff that had some substances in it that affect the psychosis of the mind. But regardless, I would really appreciate you guys pressing the like button, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So this story takes place during my junior year of high school. You know, it was the end of the year, towards the end of the year, and it was around the time that we were doing like all the crazy big projects that you do at the end of the year that are worth like a ton of your grade. You know, that one project that your teacher hypes up and is like, it's worth 25% of your final grade, so you get all stressed out at the idea that you might fail the class even though you already have an A. I don't know if that's relatable for everybody, but I was pretty stressed out about this speech because it had to be at least 15 minutes long, and getting up and talking in front of people for 15 minutes is pretty hard. I mean, now I do it like basically every day with this channel, you know. I tell a story 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes every day, and I really enjoy doing it. But at the time, I like wasn't as practiced or as good at talking as I am now, so I was super nervous. So I stayed up constantly just like making this speech great. I worked really hard on it, and my friends were low-key kind of annoyed at me because I dropped off the face of the earth for about a week before this to just write my speech to make sure I could get an A. I usually hang out with my friends all the time, but like I said, I just really wanted to get an A. I didn't care about a lot of classes. This was like honestly the only one I really wanted to get an A in because I liked my debate coach a lot, and I just wanted him to, you know that I took his class seriously, which obviously a little nerdy. All right, I'll make fun of myself a smidge. I'm a little bit of a dork when it comes to that type of stuff. But regardless, I really wanted to get an A. And because of that, I hadn't talked to my friends in my week, and they were kind of annoyed. And my friends, bless their heart, were stoners, you know, for lack of a better word. I was super into skating, and a lot of my friends really enjoyed partaking in the activity of you know, getting stoned. That's what they were big fans of. And I didn't really like to do it a ton. Like, obviously, I've done it. You know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I haven't. I've been a story time about my first time. But it wasn't really something that I did, like, super duper often back in high school. I just didn't really vibe with it. But regardless, a lot of my friends did. So I didn't hang out with them for a week. And I was texting one of my friends the night before, and it was his birthday the next day at school. And he's like, yo, I'm bringing brownies to school tomorrow. Just catch me in the morning and grab one. It'll, like, help your stress. And I was like, yo, sick. I love brownies. And for whatever reason, you know, I just didn't really process the information that, like, the brownies that this dude was bringing to school for his birthday weren't just normal brownies, you know? They were the type of brownies where, if you eat them, you get super blazed like 2 hours later. But whatever, I get to school the next morning, and I'm talking to my friends before school. It's like 6:50 in the morning. Classes start at 7 a.m., and I have to give my speech and debate at 9 a.m. Like I said, it's a big part of our grade, and I have to talk for like 15 minutes. But we're hanging out and we're talking, and they hand me a brownie, and as we're sitting there for 10 minutes before school starts talking, I eat the entire brownie, and it was a pretty big chunk, like probably half of a paper plate size of a brownie. Like, it was a pretty big brownie in the grand scheme of things. And I don't know if any of you guys have any experience with edibles whatsoever. You're only supposed to eat like a half of a brownie, a quarter of a brownie, you know, and you're still gonna be good, really good all day. And like I said, I didn't realize that these brownies were full of, you know, stuff that was gonna get me high. I just thought it was a normal brownie. So I finished the brownie and I go, yo, bro, can I have another one? Because the brownies were really good. They tasted really good. And my friend goes, bro, like, you ate the whole one already? And I'm like, yeah, of course, dude. It was delicious. Like, did your mom make them? And he goes, Ryan, that's not a normal brownie. It's an edible. And I'm like, what? Because I guess in the process of talking to my other friends, you know, people coming up to him and saying happy birthday, he wasn't like babysitting me, watching me eat this brownie, and he just assumed that I had known that this brownie was like gonna have this issue or the stuff in it. It's not really an issue. He just thought I knew. And because I hadn't talked to my friends in a week and they were like low-key kind of mad at me for dipping, none of them had told me that they had spent last night making these brownies to bring to school for my friend's birthday. So I'm basically sitting here, and at this point in my life, I had never done edibles before. So I'm asking him like, all right, how long do I have before, before I just get smacked with the wrath of 1,000 suns? And he goes, all right, well, have you ever had an edible before? And I go, no. And all my friends are like, you ate a whole one and you've never done it before? And I'm like, yeah. And their eyes, their mouths were saying, you're going to be fine, don't worry about it. But their eyes are saying like, oh my God, this kid is going to be so high, we need to get him out of school. And my friend whose birthday it is like, Ryan, you might want to go home. And I'm like, I can't. I have to give a speech and debate for my final exam and I can't miss it. Like, theoretically, I guess I could have, but I just, for some reason, thought I was going to be stronger than the edibles. Like, I was like, I mean, I could go home, but like, I'll be fine. I was not fine. That's what's coming in this story. So my friends are like, it's gonna smack you out of nowhere. It doesn't hit instantly. It'll take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, but like when it hits, it's going to hit. You're not gonna have a slow peak. You're not gonna have time to run. It's going to smack you like a freight train. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So I go to my first hour class and I sit through it entirely. Nothing happens. I don't really feel anything. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. I go into debate after. It's like 9 a.m. and I'm still feeling fine. And I'm like, whatever, I'll give my speech and, it'll kick in after and it won't be that big of a deal because I'll be in classes I don't care about. I was supposed to go first in debate, but there was this girl that had to go somewhere with her family or whatever. I don't know what the deal was, but she ends up going in front of me. And she goes over her allotted 15 minutes and ends up going for 20 minutes. And it was almost like the universe just wanted me to have a terrible experience, because if I would have just gotten up and given my speech and sat down, I would have had about 5 minutes before it hits me. But as this girl is doing like her closing statements, the end of her speech, I feel the feeling, you can't really describe it, but I kind of realized like, oh, my brain is not working normally. I'm thinking everything's hilarious. I'm laughing at her speech and it's about like, the homeless population, because whenever I get high, I just think everything is hilarious. I don't know why. I just can't stop laughing. My mind is like all over the place. I'm thinking of stupid stuff and I know it's dumb. And the realization hits me like as she's finishing her speech and my teacher calls my name, that I am now 100% blazed and I have to talk for 15 minutes about a serious debate subject. So I get up in front of the class and, I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like I could take on the world. And I had written in practice this 15-minute speech about like, some debate subject, something super serious. But when I get up there, I decide that, talking about a serious subject just does not vibe with me right now. I'm really not feeling it. So I decide that I'm gonna talk about 15 minutes of Pokemon, because for whatever reason, when I was high sitting in my debate class, I just started thinking about how weird Pokemon is. So I start telling my entire class about how Pokemon is this game made by Game Freak and Nintendo in Japan, and it's basically like, teaching kids that you can gather up animals and make them fight until they knock each other out, and if you knock out the other person's animals first, then like you win a gym badge, and I'm seriously talking about this for 15 minutes. I do not understand on what planet, on what wavelength my brain was on, because even since then, like, I've been high since, never been able to talk about how Pokemon is not a good influence on kids for 15 minutes. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. I still play Pokemon. Every time a new one comes out, I load it up in the DS or the Switch and I play it. So I don't know why I was so offended that day, but for whatever reason, I was like, yeah, man, Pokemon like straight up is teaching kids about animal abuse, and that's kind of whack. And after 15 minutes of talking about Pokemon, I don't remember a ton of it, obviously, like I said, but I do remember being like, thank you, in the class just sitting there silently. Nobody clapped. Nobody had anything to say. Everybody is just staring at me. And one thing that you have to do after your speech and debate is answer questions. And so my debate coach is like, does anyone have any questions? And nobody is raising their hand because they just are like, usually I was pretty good at giving speeches, all right? I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I was a state champion in debate. I'm usually pretty good. And I just got up there and went off for 15 minutes about Pokemon teaching kids animal abuse, probably not very coherently. My eyes, from a picture that I took on that day, I don't have anymore, bloodshot. Like, I was very obviously not under a good state of mind. So my coach starts asking me questions about Pokemon. And for whatever reason, it's taking me like 5 minutes to respond. I don't remember a ton of this super well. Like, I remember a little bit of it, but my friends on the debate team afterwards are like, dude, he would ask you a question and you would just look at him with your glazed over eyes for like a minute and then answer the question. So what was supposed to be a 15-minute speech and answering questions for like 5 minutes ends up taking me, 25 minutes because I'm slow. And because the girl had gone over too, the class period ends. I go about my classes, on the way out, my teacher calls me over and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." I feel great, to be honest, man. I'm feeling fantastic. He's like, "Is anything wrong?" And I make up this excuse. I go, "Oh, no, I'm on some new medication for an ear infection and it's making me feel weird." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, okay." And for whatever reason buys that my ear infection medicine just is making me faded enough to talk about Pokemon for 15 minutes. And I ended up going to class and enjoying the rest of my day, fell asleep in science, took a fat nap, went home, and ate more food than I ever have before. And yeah. Anyways, guys, that's the story of me doing my final exam after I low-key accidentally, kind of on accident from both parties, got super baked in class, ended up giving a 15-minute speech about Pokemon teaching kids animal abuse, and for those of you wondering what grade I got, a solid 87%. Yeah, that's right. Even when I'm baked, I can still get a high B talking about Pokemon. Realistically, though, moral of the story, don't do drugs, kids. It's not cool. I think I'm required to say that by law. This video is probably gonna get demonetized, so if you could like and comment, I would really appreciate it. It helps the video do better. And I'm trying new gameplay. I'm staying more chill like you guys wanted. I'm trying to do what you guys want to see, so if you could just take a second, press the like button, I'd appreciate it. Cop yourself some of the merch if you haven't already, because I'm gonna take it down, get some good stuff now. New stuff on the way. And as for today's notification shout out, it goes to the very fantastic, super awesome, incredibly talented N7 Javik. He's a super cool dude. I forgot to give him a notification shout out a while ago when I told him I would, and I'm super sorry for that. But yeah, on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. Join the new Discord server down below, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.